What up, what up, what up? Episode 17, Stevie Katz on the ones and twos. I'm Gabe Henderson, my man, Kyle Stackpole, always beside me. Zach Subby was here Monday. We talked about a lot in episode 16, but episode 17, we're here, we're back. Man, I'm excited to start talking off-season. On Monday, we talked a lot of the off-season. One thing we didn't mention, even though it was, looming out there, was Vernon Davis' retirement. On Monday, after the podcast, he officially announced his retirement on Redskins Nation. He talked to Larry Michael about, why he retired, his reasoning for retiring. You guys should check that out on Redskins.com. But, I think we should just start off with, just Vernon Davis, what he meant to this community. Of course, this was like a dream come true for him, coming back home, being from Maryland, coming back home, finishing his career in D.C. With the Washington Redskins, Ashburn, Virginia, per se. But just for him, he had a phenomenal career. A lot of people saying Hall of Fame career. That's neither here nor there. We got to let the debaters debate that. But, man, what a career.
Seriously, 14 years, was awesome in San Francisco, won a Super Bowl with the Broncos, and then came here and was really not only a veteran guy who produced on the field, but he was a great leader, and he was always professional, and he was always well-spoken. And it's nice to see that he was able to retire, like you said, in D.C., where he grew up. I think earlier this year there was actually maybe it might have been last March, they had the Vernon Davis Day. At his high school. How cool is that? Yeah. So it really was a great career for him. I know it didn't end necessarily how he would have wanted it to, with suffering a concussion in week 4, and he was out the rest of the year. And actually, something that he said, I'm not sure if he mentioned it in his official letter. I don't think he did, but he said that concussions were really the reason for that.
He said he could have played, 6, 7, or 8 or 9 more years?
Yeah,
that's crazy. I believe it, though. I don't put anything past that, man.
Yeah, so, that's really sad to hear. But then again, he's a guy that has so much going on. He's obviously a great football player, but he's an actor. He's been in movies. He's been in commercials. Yeah. He could be a broadcaster if he wanted to.
He won't have a hard time finding a job.
Exactly. So he has a bunch of passions outside of football too. He's still 34, 35 years old. Yeah. He's a whole life still ahead of him. So I'm excited to see what he does later on in life. Probably watching a movie one day and see him in it and be like, Vernon, damn, okay. So congrats to him. Great career. Vernon, I know you're listening, so congrats, man.
Where can you listen at if you are a Redskins fan?
So, Vernon, you can listen on, and also Redskins fans, on, let's see, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play. Stitcher. You can watch on YouTube, Redskins.com, Redskins app. Subscribe. Yeah. I feel like
every week Stevie gives us a new platform where you can stream us at. So good job by Stevie holding us down, giving us
hooks it up.
Yeah. But going back to, what we're talking about episode 16 with Zach Selby, you were down at the Super Bowl this past week. You, Larry Michael, Asa Winborn, Devontae Gray, other guys on the crew. And you guys had an opportunity to talk to a lot of players, a lot of coaches. One coach in particular that I think is a pretty big deal around here, Ron Rivera.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. He said a lot. He gave you guys a lot. Just from, why he left Carolina. What does he think about this new franchise? Not new franchise, but new team that he's coaching on. And then, why he brought the coaching staff in. And, he hit on a lot of points that we hit on, as far as, Ken Zampese working with the young quarterback, with Baker Mayfield, Scott Turner. Just what he's done with Cam Newton, his development, and even in Minnesota with Teddy Bridgewater, and then just bringing that knowledge, that experience to Dwayne Haskins. Ron Rivera made a similar comparison between Cam Newton and Dwayne Haskins. It's he didn't say they were the same quarterback, but he sees some similarities that he liked in Cam that he sees in Dwayne, and you could probably delve more into it. It's just a recipe for success when you just listen to him and you understand what he's saying and what he's seen on film so far and what he expects from, all the players, but Dwayne Haskins in particular.
Yeah, for sure. So we talked to him on Thursday afternoon, and he was a machine during Radio Row.
He gets it.
And during Miami. I think he did 7 hours of interviews on Thursday, and then he woke up on Friday morning, was out on the beach doing First Take, Get Up, NFL Live. he was doing all this stuff, and he came to us. It was one of his last interviews on Thursday, and he was as energetic and as passionate as ever. And we asked him, "Hey, are you?" Because a lot of players and coaches, they'll go to Radio Row and they'll have a partnership or they'll have a sponsor and someone they're trying to get their name out there. And so we asked him, "Is there anything else that you would want to mention?" And he said, "No, I just want to get the message. I just want to get the message out to Redskins fans, to Redskins Nation. I want to tell as many people as possible what our message is, what our goals are, and how we're going to be able to do this." So, and it was awesome to talk to him. I think he talked for 11 or 12 minutes, and that was the first time that we were able to talk to him since his introductory press conference. So he said a lot of good stuff. Anything in particular that stood out to you? I mean, I know he touched on a range of stuff, but
I think just when he was talking about the progression of Dwayne and just seeing how he played those last 4 games of his rookie season. I mean, every game that he played, the last 4 games, aside from the Dallas Cowboys, the second half, like the Redskins were competitive. And then just seeing Dwayne, of course, Dwayne didn't play in that game, the Cowboys game, just seeing his progression. And I think it all led to that Lions game, that win. And Ron Rivera brought it up. Those last 2 last 2 or 3 drives, you get 2 field goals to win the game.
Yep.
I mean, one drive that stands out to me was that, I think it was the last field goal. And Dwayne Haskins, it was a 3rd and medium, and he rushed for a first down, got 6 yards, trucked somebody, got up, flex, and it was like, all right, it's his time. Like, it's Dwayne Haskins' time. And, as a coach, you see way more than that, than the normal fan does. So for him to say that about Dwayne, seeing his progression, from, the Giants, was that week 3, week 4?
Week 4.
I mean, that game when he threw 3 interceptions to, his final game against the Eagles, that was a game where, man, like, it comes down to that last drive, and, it's a 10-point loss, I think. But that was we could have beat the Eagles. I mean, but just seeing his progression and seeing how Ron Rivera, talked about what he thinks about, Dwayne Haskins, I think is going to be a recipe for success, like I said earlier in this podcast. And then Terry McLaurin, another guy that he talked about. I was
just going to say that, yeah.
He said he sat and met with him, and just picking his brain, I think it only makes for, a good nucleus, a good core of players to build your team around. And Dwayne Haskins and Terry McLaurin, those are just 2 guys that you can just build your team off. And I know you heard from him more what he said about Terry McLaurin, and you could probably finish what I want to say.
For sure, yeah. So Terry, I actually wrote a story about this, kind of just like the mutual respect between Terry and Ron, because we were able to talk to both of them. And so, like you said, when we talked to Terry, he said he actually sat down with him during the combine, which he said is pretty rare for a prospect to sit down with an NFL head coach one-on-one during this process. But Rivera really said how he liked his toughness and he liked the way that he went about life and just how he approached everything. And he said they didn't even talk about football that much. And so just having that relationship, but I mean, obviously they went their separate ways, but they knew what to expect from each other. And then the same thing, Rivera really spoke highly of Terry McLaurin, saying that how he produced so much his rookie year that nothing's going to be too big for him, and that he's really going to be one of those core players that the Redskins are going to be looking to build around as they move into the offseason with free agency and the draft.
Bring your team to cheer on our team. The 2020 Redskins group ticket deposit window is now open. Your deposit will give you priority access to the best seats available when the 2020 schedule is released. Visit redskins.com/group tickets or call or text 301-276-6033 for more information on group tickets.
Looking for great tasting food at a great price? Check out the $3.99 sub of the day at Subway restaurants, featuring a different 6-inch sub each day, like turkey breast on Wednesdays and the Italian BMT on Thursdays. And of course, every sub of the day is prepared on freshly baked bread and topped with your choice of fresh veggies. That's one tasty value. The $3.99 sub of the day at Subway. Great food, great price. At participating restaurants, additional charge for extras plus applicable tax. No additional discounts or coupons may be applied.
Redskins defensive lineman number 93, Jonathan Allen, hates to lose. So he's teaming up with Papa John's and you to help donate to Sasha Bruce Youth Work, helping homeless children in our region every day. Team 93 needs you to make it a winning day for your family and these special children. You'll get a large 2-topping pizza and an order of wings for just $20. And Papa John's will donate 93 cents to Sasha Bruce's youth work for every single order. Play to eat, play to give, but play to win, because nobody wants to lose. So we're talking NFL Super Bowl week last week. You were there. Larry Mike was there. Asa Winborn, Devontae Gray. A lot of the crew members were down there, and we just finished talking about Ron Rivera, Terry McLaurin, their friendship, and their how they connected over that time. But you guys talked to Terry McLaurin too, and it was an experience for him being down there. And one thing that we're doing right now, of course, you probably saw on our social media earlier this week, Scary Terry is no longer a nickname for Terry McLaurin. I'm not sure. He didn't say he didn't like the nickname. He just wants something more original. I think we got to come up with a new nickname for him. I can't think of anything right now, but I think we got to figure out something before this podcast is over.
Before it's over?
Before it's over.
I mean, like I told you before we started, I dubbed him Mr. Opportunity based on a story that I did.
It's a terrible nickname.
But so it was really it was the headline. And,
I know what you mean. Yeah, that was a really good story, though.
So really based on the story, it was a good headline, and the nickname fit what he was able to do. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think they should just call him T-Mac.
Yeah,
I think that's what he said his friends call him at home, and that's what he's referred to. It's simple. You don't have to really think about it. Go all out and all this. Like, I mean, I do like Scary Terry. I just, for the kind of person he is, he scares you on the field, but like he's just such a nice, genuine guy, you know. So.
Somebody, I was reading some of the comments earlier on Twitter, and somebody took my nickname for him, Run TMC.
Oh yeah, that one's not bad. Yeah, because someone actually commented Route 17, which I don't know why, but I kind of like that nickname.
Route 17. That's something to think about. But Terry, man, he had a really good week down there. The moment wasn't too big for him. Ron Rivera talked about how his rookie season and third-round draft pick, his rookie season, the moment being on the field wasn't too big for him either. Yep. Just seeing you guys, you and Larry talk to him, you could tell it was one of those, it was a moment for him to actually take a step back and see and understand the impact he made on the Redskins this past season. And for you, after talking to him, after, processing everything, having some time to think about it, what was your biggest takeaway from his season and from the interview that you and Larry did with him down there in Miami?
I mean, I think he's just so insightful, and he just gives such good perspective. I think that was the main takeaway. I mean, there were so many things that he said that we hadn't really heard from him in a while. So we asked him, hey, where do you think you made your biggest strides? And he said, I think I was consistent throughout the year, and the numbers might not have showed that because he got off to such a hot start. But he said in terms of the quarterbacks trusting him on third down and his teammates trusting him, he earned that trust pretty early, and he kept that trust throughout the year. So he was really proud of that. And then also his ability to make contested catches and high point the football, because he said during the draft process that was a slight on him. That was one of his weaknesses, and he really showed several times this year making those contested catches, coming down with tough balls. So, and then the things that he wanted to improve on is, he said, route running, and you can never become too good or perfect route running. It's a never-ending process. And then just wanting to stay healthy too. So he had the concussion, and he had another injury, and he only missed 2 games. Right. So it's like the health. When someone thinks of Terry McLaurin, they don't think of, he's got health problems, he's injury prone. But that, he said that was his number one goal. So it was just cool talking to him and hearing what he thought of the season, hearing about his next steps, hearing about what he thought of the new coaching staff, and just what it was like for him to be at the Super Bowl. Because one of the biggest things for me is that when he was at the Super Bowl, he didn't really view it as, this is really cool to experience this on Radio Row. He was like, I need to be here. I don't want to be on Radio Row and talking to all these people. I want to be playing in the game. So, and he said that from the jump. So that just kind of showed how competitive he is. But he was a great interview too.
Yeah, for sure. The interview was really, really cool to hear, and your story was really insightful. And I mean, just Terry, Dwayne, those are guys that got a lot of love this year, just from, being 2 standout rookies. But moving on, he didn't get a lot of love. Terry McLaurin didn't get a lot of love when it came to the NFL honors voting. He didn't receive a single vote for Offensive Rookie of the Year. We talked about this on Monday with Zach in episode 16, but that's just something that's still
it's still
it's still bothering me a
really?
little bit. Yeah, it's still bothering
keeping you
me.
up at night.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just like, man. But speaking of love, your conversation with Nick Sundberg on NFL Honors Red Carpet, loads of love, man. That was a great interview, man. Can you talk a little more about Nick Sundberg, his loads of love thing, that that his initiative that he's already been doing? Everybody in the Redskins community knows what it is, but the interview that you talked about, the things that you talked about, was really insightful.
Yeah, so I mean, also that was a great transition, by the way.
Thanks, man.
But yeah, so we talked to Sundberg both at NFL Honors and the Super Bowl, and he was there because he was the Redskins Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee, and he came. So we know that in the fan vote, he came in second behind Cam Newton. But he's just done so much with the Loads of Love program that him and his wife, in conjunction with the Washington Redskins Charitable Foundation, started to install washers and dryers in schools where kids don't always have clean clothes.
Right.
And so the interview was really insightful, and he's got some really lofty goals about. He basically was saying that one of his goals, he wants to have a Loads of Love program for every team.
Wow.
So it's not just, and that's why he wanted to work with the Charitable Foundation, because he said that this is kind of a blueprint that other teams can follow, so that this is not only limited to the DMV, but this is something that's nationwide.
Yeah.
So, and then he said that all the schools around here, he says, I want washers and dryers in every single one. So he's really passionate about it, and just based on what he's accomplished so far, you're not going to doubt the guy when he says he wants to accomplish these goals. So it was nice talking to him. It was nice hearing that, and it was nice that the Redskins recognized him for his efforts and what he was able to start.
You do anything else in Miami while you're down there? We saw your interviews. What was the week like?
The week was fun. I mean, Radio Row was a spectacle, honestly. I didn't
sure.
really know what to expect, but it was just a bunch of small tables, everyone doing the same thing, just talking to guests. I mean, the list of people that we were able to see and meet was awesome. But just like Miami, they've hosted. I think this was their 11th Super Bowl, so they know how it's done. They know how to host it, and it was just really cool how it was crazy. And as it got closer to the game, it was even crazier. So, it was
Would you do it again?
Would I go to the Super Bowl?
Would you do it again? Would you do Radio Row again?
Oh, 100%.
Really?
Yeah, I would do it every year if they allowed me to go.
Nice. Another interview that was really insightful also was D'Angelo Hall. Larry talked to him a little bit just to hear his perspective on the team, and I think D'Angelo Hall made a lot of good points. Did you hear anything or understanding? Did you get anything out of his sit down with Larry there also?
Yeah, I think the main thing was that he just, like everyone else, loved the hires of Rivera and Jack Del Rio. He didn't play for Rivera. He didn't know him personally, but just he was around when the Redskins would play the Panthers, and just the kind of teams that the Panthers would put out. And then Del Rio, Hall was actually, I guess Del Rio was trying to get Hall to come to Oakland. And so he had a back and forth with him, or maybe was it Jacksonville? I think it was Jacksonville, because Del Rio was at Jacksonville before Oakland. But anyway, Del Rio tried to get him to go there, so they had a back and forth, and he really likes those guys together and what they can do for the defense. And D Hall being a defensive guy, he wants to see that Redskins defense show out like it did when he was prowling the secondary. So it was a good interview.
I know what you mean, man. But did you know that the Washington Redskins are sponsored by Koch Industries? That's KOCH Koch. Their 67,000 U.S. employees make a lot of things that make game day better. Gurner Turf, they make that. Stronger paper products for tailgating, they make that. Oh, and electronic components and TVs and smart devices so you can watch a Redskins victory anywhere? Yeah, Koch makes that too. See all they make for on and off the field at kochmakesthat.com.
And now some DC travel wisdom. Good things come to those who
wait.
Nope. Don't wait for a connecting flight, because Dulles offers nonstop flights to 45% more destinations than any airport in the region, so you don't have to wait. What about this? The grass is always greener on
the other side.
Both sides of the Dulles Access Highway, where you can fly past traffic to the airport. Find out how else you can travel wisely at flydulles.com/wise. Sign up for FanDuel now and get $5 in total bonus. Just make your first deposit to get started, and you'll get an extra $5 in site credit. Go to FanDuel.com/FFT or download the FanDuel app.
Kyle, I think personally, arguably your best work for the Redskins was one of the articles that you posted, which has like 63 links of every single mock draft from literally all of the national talking heads and what they say which team will be drafting who. I think you did a phenomenal job because I don't have to look. I can just click on the article,
Exactly.
Redskins.com, and I can see whatever PFF, CBS Sports, whatever you need. Thank you for making my job easier.
Yeah, but the thing is, you don't even really have to look because every single mock draft has the same exact thing.
If you're a Redskins fan.
If you're a Redskins fan,
Yeah.
which that's why we care, right?
Yeah, I got a bit of a hot take, and I know we got time to talk more about this, but I think the Redskins are in a really good position. Whatever they do, with the number 2 pick, they could, get a game changer at defensive end at Chase Young. We all heard what Terry McLaurin said. He's played with the Bosa brothers and Chase Young, and he says, Bosa was Defensive Rookie of the Year this year, and he said Chase Young had, more productivity at Ohio State. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that says a lot right there. We all know Terry McLaurin is a pretty reliable source here around here. So
I would say.
I think they're good there. If they choose Chase Young, whatever, go do whatever you got to do. He's going to make an impact immediately. But I think you trade back. I think it all depends on Trent. And, Ron Rivera was talking about Trent at the Super Bowl, and he was basically saying, Trent's still our guy. We want to see where he is, this and that. And, they're all on board with Trent. But who knows what's going to happen there. And, at the same time, I think you trade back. I think there's a lot. If you look at the history, in 2017, the Browns had the 2nd overall pick.
Yep.
The Bears traded up to get Mitchell Trubisky.
Oh, that was the 49ers.
Yeah, 49ers. That was 49ers in 2017. I'm sorry. And they got a 3rd. And the 2017, they got the Bears' 3rd overall pick, Bears' 3rd and 4th round pick, and then the Bears 2018 3rd round pick.
Which is not bad, but not
bad.
as good as 2017.
Not good as 2016. 2016, the Browns, they traded with Philly. Philly moved up from 8 to number 2. The Browns got the 8th pick, but they also got a first rounder in 2017, the 2nd rounder in 2018. I mean, they got 2 other picks in the 2017 draft. So, I mean, they got a lot of picks. And then when you look in 2012, when the Redskins traded up to get RG3 to the Rams got a first rounder. They got the Rams first round. They got another first rounder. They got the number 6 overall pick. They got a 2nd round pick. They got a 2013 first round pick, a 2014 first round pick. Like it's you can get a lot of assets for that pick. And if I'm thinking big picture, long term, and I know I'm not in the draft room, and I know I'm not the coach that's making the final call, but just my opinion, I think you trade back and get more picks. You get more value. I mean, Chase Young he's good. He's a generational type of player.
That's what they're saying, yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like it's a win-win regardless for the Redskins fans.
Well, that's the thing. They're in a great position right now to either get someone like Chase Young, who, like you said, could end up being just one of the best pass rushers for the next decade, or they can end up getting 3 first-rounders that are going to change this franchise. I mean, we got 2 first rounders last year, and you saw their production and what they can possibly do. But it's just, this is going to be a debate that goes all the way up until the draft, and it's only going to gain more steam because Justin Herbert, the QB for Oregon, he's only going to have more exposure, and a lot of people liked him at the Senior Bowl. Obviously, Tua is coming back from injury, and once he's fully healthy and he hosts a pro day or he hosts all these workouts and teams can see what they saw before he got hurt, they're going to be salivating over these guys.
Yeah.
And the fact that the Redskins are at number 2, you would assume that Cincinnati's going to take
leverage, man.
Burrow a ton of leverage. So it's like when they first got the number 2 pick and they were going to take Chase Young, I was like, do it. Don't worry about it. He's that good of a player. But you got to at least listen.
Yeah, and Ron Rivera said he'll be dumb not to listen. Just
exactly.
But he said, nobody has their mind made up yet, but at the same time, we are in a good position, and regardless, it's a win-win regardless. But it wouldn't be smart not to listen. And I think Ron Rivera has a great approach going into the NFL draft. At the same time, though, you got a lot of teams that have 3 teams that have 2 first-round picks. The Raiders, the Dolphins, and the Jaguars. I mean, those are 3 teams right there that could use a Chase Young. Like all 3 of those teams. I mean,
Giants too. Giants have been talking, and they're at number 4, and they've been talking about wanting to get Chase Young. So,
but I was looking at assets. I mean, the Raiders, they have 2 first rounders next year also. I'm just thinking like long term. Okay, the Redskins don't have a second round pick this year, so that's another thing to weigh into. Maybe you trade up in another round. Like I said, we'll see. I think this is what makes the draft so fun. It's because you have so many options. There's so many variables and scenarios. But if they do stay with number 2 with all the mock drafts, what they're saying, Chase Young at number 2, I think the Redskins are going to be in a good position.
I agree. And we actually saw yesterday that Todd McShay, one of the leading NFL draft analysts for ESPN, came out with one of either his first or second mock draft, his first since the season ended, I think. And he said that the Redskins picking Chase Young could be the easiest pick on the board. And he just was saying how, he missed 2 games and still led the nation with 16.5 sacks. He said that
that's crazy.
He has more potential than the Bosa brothers, who both won Defensive Rookie of the Year. So it's just, he basically was saying that it's more about his Young's potential than it is what the Redskins need right now.
Nice.
So, I mean, it's a tough decision. It really is, and I'm sure that Rivera and the coaching staff, once they go through and evaluate all these guys, the combine and free agency happens, and they know what they have, there'll be a certain price that they'll say, "Hey, like we have to take this." But right now, they don't know what that is yet, and who knows? Some team like Miami could come with a massive haul, bigger than they even expected,
right?
And then you're looking at, okay, is it one player or we're talking about 4 or 5 players?
Right.
So it's going to be it's a good debate, and it's not going to be decided until like right before draft time.
Yeah, and we're going to have plenty of opportunities to continue this subject, continue talking, but it's time to go home, man. So for Stevie Katz,
time to go home.
It's
like it's not even noon.
Man, it's Wednesday. So Wednesday, I'm joking. But for Stevie Katz, Kyle Stackpole, Gabe Henderson, I'm Gabe Henderson. This is episode 17 of The Rundown.
Winter is the season for adventure. And if you want a car as exciting as your lifestyle, then it has to be an all-wheel drive Honda SUV. With more features, the CR-V has standard Honda sensing, more room for friends. The Pilot has seating for 8. More comfort. The HR-V has available heated seats. And more rugged. The Passport is built for adventure with ample cargo space and hidden storage compartments. Winter adventure is calling, and Honda is ready to answer. See your local Honda dealer today.
Have you heard about Creighton Farms, the private club community that's home to the Redskins? Creighton Farms is just 20 minutes from Dulles, but a world away. On top of its award-winning Jack Nicklaus signature golf course, pools, tennis courts, and other resort-style amenities, you'll find custom homes and villas that are simply extraordinary, starting at $1.5 million. For property and legal information, visit CreightonFarms.com, or, better yet, visit Creighton Farms. Are uninvited pests ruining your plans? Let PMSI, the pest control partner of the Washington Redskins, handle it for you. Call today for your free inspection, and they'll work around your schedule to provide you the best solution possible to defend your home territory against pests of all kinds, including mold. Visit mypmsi.com for the game plan to control the pests on your home turf. That's mypmsi.com.
At Coke, our 67,000 U.S. employees make things that make your game days better, like fertilizer for greener turf and stronger paper products for tailgating. Viewing the game from your couch? Coke also makes the electronic components in TVs and smart devices so you can watch your Redskins victory anywhere. Coke, we make that. See it all at KOCHmakesthat.com. That's CokeMakesThat.com.